Arrival at the Dominion. The cosmos was quiet, but tension pulsed like an electric current across the vast expanse of the Dominion sector. 4 centuries, the Dominion had ruled with an iron grip, maintaining control over hundreds of star systems with fleets, weapons of mass disruption, and a reputation that kept civilizations in line through fear alone. Their hierarchy was strict, their technology superior, or so they believed. Lieutenant Cale Arden of the Human Expeditionary Fleet looked out through the observation viewport of the flagship Resolute horizon. Below, the Dominion's sprawling citadel glowed with pale blue energy, its massive fortifications bristling with automated defense turrets. Entire orbital belts were mined with energy-absorbing satellites, and the Dominion fleet hovered like a predatory cloud of starlight and metal. Admiral Lyra Voss, Cale said, addressing the commanding officer of the human fleet, their defenses are unlike anything we've ever encountered. It will take everything we've learned, and more, to cross that threshold safely. Lyra Voss, known for her tactical genius and composed demeanor, did not flinch. Her hands rested lightly on the navigation console, eyes scanning the Dominion's arrangement in 3-dimensional space. Cale, she replied calmly, the Dominion has underestimated us for too long. Their fleets are impressive, but they have never faced a species that does not fear them. Remember, our power is not just in our weapons, it is in our unity, our strategy, and our resolve. We are humans. We do not flinch. Around them, the fleet hummed with life. Cadets and officers from diverse human colonies manned the consoles, checking energy shields, propulsion grids, and the unique Neuralink coordination system that allowed all ships to respond instantaneously to changes in the environment. Every system was synced to respond to threats without human delay, a combination of cutting-edge AI and human intuition refined over centuries. The Dominion Command, high in their central citadel, noticed the approaching fleet and erupted in chaos. Admiral Threxa Valine, commander of the Dominion Armada, slammed his clawed hand against his control panel. What is this? They are moving into our sector without caution. Without protocol. Without submission. His aides trembled, unsure whether to intervene or retreat. Lyra Voss activated the communication relay and sent a single message, broadcasted across the Dominion fleet. It was simple, confident, and almost provocatively calm. We are here. We do not fear you. We have come to claim our place in this sector. Prepare to witness human resolve. The Dominion forces recoiled. The very concept of a fleet advancing without hesitation, without fear, without requesting permission, was unthinkable. Alien protocol dictated that any species approaching the Dominion's domain would submit, offer resources, or negotiate terms. Humans had done none of these. Cale Arden grinned. They expected hesitation, intimidation, or diplomacy. They will get none. Humans do not flinch. As the fleet entered Dominion space, energy shields and laser turrets flared to life. The Dominion's automated defenses fired, attempting to disrupt the human formation. Yet every projectile was anticipated by the fleet's neural network. Drones intercepted incoming energy blasts, while propulsion fields altered the trajectory of capital ships with subtle precision. Not a single human vessel was damaged, and not a single human soldier panicked. Aboard the Dominion flagship, Threxa Valine stared in disbelief. How are they evading everything? Their ships move as one, as if they are a single organism. Impossible. Lyra Voss smiled faintly, knowing that the Dominion had miscalculated humanity's approach. Their fear relies on intimidation, she said to Cale. We rely on coordination, intelligence, and resolve. Watch and learn. Dominion arrogance always underestimates what it cannot comprehend. Cale nodded, eyes locked on the approaching citadel. They will soon realize that we are not like the species they have crushed for centuries. The human fleet reached the outer ring of the Dominion citadel. For the first time, the alien population saw them in full formation, hundreds of ships, perfectly aligned, their energy fields pulsating in unison. It was a display of organization, technology, and calm that radiated confidence. The Dominion citizens whispered among themselves, their fear growing with every synchronized pulse of human energy fields. Lyra Voss initiated a calculated maneuver. Instead of firing, the human fleet projected holographic energy patterns, demonstrating tactical capabilities that were designed to communicate intelligence and discipline rather than destruction. The Dominion officers interpreted the display as a warning, and many felt terror. They had never seen such precision, such control, such audacity. Threxa Valine's hands shook as he ordered countermeasures. Deploy the full defense grid. Engage all weapon systems. But Lyra anticipated this. Using the fleet's neural-linked coordination, humans neutralized energy weapons non-lethally, redirecting excess energy into harmless cosmic radiation dispersals. Turrets jammed, automated drones malfunctioned, and the Dominion fleet's attempts to intimidate humans failed spectacularly. For the first time, the Dominion faced a species that refused to fear them, and their confidence faltered. In the midst of this, Kale Arden led a small squadron through the inner defenses of the Dominion ring. Using advanced stealth technology and calculated maneuvers, they bypassed the majority of the outer defenses and reached observation points above the central citadel. From this vantage, Kale could see the Dominion's core operations, energy reactors, fleet coordination nodes, and command centers pulsing with power. "This is it," Kale said into the comms, "the heart of the Dominion. And we are here, unafraid, ready to take the first step toward reshaping this sector." Lyra Voss responded calmly. "Do not fire unless necessary. Our mission is not destruction. It is demonstration. Let them see what humans can achieve without fear, without hesitation, and without compromise. The Dominion will learn humility, or collapse under its own arrogance." Across Dominion space, word spread quickly. Citizens, soldiers, and council members observed the humans' audacious approach. Panic swept through sectors that had once been confident in Dominion supremacy. Humans had crossed into the Dominion and had not flinched. Entire fleets reeled under the psychological impact. For centuries, the Dominion had crushed civilizations that dared oppose them, but humans were different. Kale Arden watched the reaction. "Fear is their weapon, but they cannot wield it against us. Humans operate on principles, on intelligence, and courage. That is a power they cannot understand, until now." At the same time, human diplomats prepared for direct engagement with Dominion leaders. While the fleet demonstrated power and coordination, the humans intended to establish dialogue based on mutual respect, strategy, and intelligence, not submission or coercion. It was an approach that would astonish the Dominion even more than the fleet's technical prowess. In the Dominion citadel, Threxa Valine finally summoned the council. "We have underestimated them. They have no fear, no hesitation, and their coordination surpasses anything we have ever seen. If we continue as we are, we will lose not to their weapons, but to their confidence and discipline." Lyra Voss addressed the fleet over comms, her voice calm and commanding. "Humans do not seek war for its own sake. We seek understanding, stability, and the respect of those we encounter. The Dominion will learn that strength without fear is far more powerful than any weapon." And so, the humans remained poised above the Dominion citadel, unflinching, their presence a testament to courage, strategy, and the HFY spirit. The galaxy would soon remember this moment, the day humans entered the Dominion without fear, challenging centuries of tyranny with intelligence, discipline, and unshakable resolve. The Dominion trembled. Humanity had arrived, the show of human resolve. The Dominion's orbital citadel had never experienced an intruder who advanced without hesitation. Within the sprawling halls of the Central Command, Councillor Threxa Valine paced frantically, his multi-jointed limbs tapping on energy-conductive floors that hummed underfoot. "They are not intimidated, they are not retreating. How can a species possess such audacity?" Across the communication consoles, Dominion officers shouted updates. Automated defense satellites had been neutralized without destruction. Entire squadrons attempting to intercept the human fleet were rerouted or disabled by non-lethal energy manipulation. Every tactic employed by the Dominion had been anticipated and countered. Meanwhile, aboard the Resolute Horizon, Admiral Lyra Voss orchestrated the next phase of the operation. Unlike any prior human engagement, this was not a battle of weapons, it was a demonstration of strategy, coordination, and psychological impact. "We will show them that human strength lies in intelligence, foresight, and unity," she said. Cadet Kale Arden and his squad watched the Dominion fleets move erratically. They expected fear, Kale said, observing Dominion ships hesitating under the human advance. Instead, they see confidence, strategy, and calm. That is more terrifying to them than any weapon we could fire. Lyra activated the holographic tactical display, projecting large-scale simulations of the Dominion sector. The holograms showed projected human maneuvers, energy redirections, and stabilization fields. Dominion Command could see, in real time, how human fleets responded seamlessly to threats, adjusted formations without hesitation, and maintained cohesion under pressure. "Notice their neural-linked coordination," Lyra explained to her cadets. "Each ship reacts not only to threats but to the intent of nearby ships. Decisions are instantaneous, guided by human experience and ethical algorithms. Every maneuver preserves life while demonstrating control. HFY is intelligence and ethics applied on a galactic scale. In response, the Dominion Command scrambled new countermeasures. Fleets deployed graviton pulse cannons, designed to disrupt neural-linked coordination systems and scatter formations. Yet every pulse was anticipated. Human energy shields absorbed and redirected the pulses, neutralizing them harmlessly. Drones adjusted positions dynamically, intercepting stray energy bursts and ensuring civilian systems remained unaffected. Counselor Threxaveline's frustration mounted. Every offensive fails. Every tactic is neutralized. They do not fight like ordinary species, they think, anticipate, and adapt instantly. How can they be so unshakable? Kale led a smaller strike force toward one of the Dominion's outer defense stations, a heavily fortified structure housing thousands of energy weapons and automated drones. Their mission was not to destroy but to demonstrate precision control. The goal is not destruction, Kale reminded his team. We are proving capability. They need to understand that human resolve is not measured by weapons fired, but by the discipline, coordination, and adaptability of our species. Using advanced stealth fields, the squad bypassed the outer perimeter. Once inside visual range of the station, they deployed containment drones. Energy beams restrained weapon systems, neutralizing them without damage. The Dominion operators watched in awe as their most powerful armaments were rendered harmless, yet untouched. The humans were demonstrating control without aggression, a concept foreign to the Dominion. From orbit, Lyra observed the operation. Precision over destruction. Ethics over fear. Humanity has endured because we understand that survival is not conquest, it is intelligence, morality, and adaptability applied consistently. HFY is not what they fear, they cannot comprehend it yet. Meanwhile, Dominion citizens on nearby orbital platforms began whispering about the humans. Children peered from observation decks, parents murmured warnings, and soldiers hesitated in their duties. The human fleet's calm, confident demeanor and flawless execution instilled fear not through violence, but through competence and audacity. Dr. Ilara Mistral, the human strategist overseeing ethical algorithms, initiated the quantum ethical network, projecting scenarios for Dominion leadership. Observe the outcomes of every decision, she said. We are demonstrating how intelligence and ethics can resolve conflicts without escalation. Notice the consequences of impulsive aggression, they are catastrophic. Notice the outcomes of measured, collaborative action, they stabilize entire systems. Humans have endured because we anticipate consequences and act responsibly. Counselor Threxaveline, for the first time, showed doubt to his subordinates. They are teaching us, in effect. Without permission, without negotiation. How can a species do this? Lyra Voss addressed the Dominion Command directly, her calm voice carrying across comms channels. We do not seek war. We seek understanding, mutual respect, and recognition of principles that allow civilizations to endure. Humans do not flinch, because fear is not a tool we wield. Intelligence and discipline are our strengths, and today you witness them firsthand. Kale Ardin's squad concluded their demonstration at the outer defense station, returning to the fleet without a single casualty. Dominion officers had observed a complete neutralization of a major strategic point without a drop of blood. Panic began to ripple through the Dominion ranks. If humans could control assets so massive with such precision, what could they not do? Lyra then initiated a holographic projection of historical human interventions, showing how humans had stabilized other civilizations for centuries. Entire planetary systems, previously on the brink of collapse due to political conflict, resource scarcity, or environmental instability, were revealed to bear human guidance. Dominion historians and tacticians watched in stunned silence. The humans they had dismissed as a minor species had subtly shaped history on a galactic scale. Kale Arden observed reactions across the Dominion fleet. They realize now that we are not like any species they have faced. We endure because we think, anticipate, and act ethically. Their fear is born not from weapons, but from comprehension. They cannot predict us, and they cannot intimidate us. The first direct communication from Dominion leadership arrived. Counselor Threxaveline spoke, voice trembling. Humans, what is your purpose here? Why do you move with such confidence, such disregard for fear? Lyra responded, measured and precise. Our purpose is to demonstrate that courage and intelligence outweigh intimidation. That ethics can guide civilizations more effectively than brute force. That humans endure because we act with foresight, unity, and moral clarity. You have ruled through fear. We rule through example. The choice is yours: continue resistance or recognize principles that allow the galaxy to thrive. The Dominion fleet hesitated. Internal debate erupted among officers and citizens alike. Some argued for continued defense, some for cautious observation, and some for outright negotiation. For the first time in centuries, fear was not the controlling factor, it was comprehension of human intelligence and moral courage. Lyra turned to her command staff. Observe carefully. They are beginning to understand what humans have always known: HFY is not measured by survival alone. It is measured by intelligence, ethical foresight, and the refusal to flinch when faced with overwhelming intimidation. Kale nodded. And once they comprehend that, the galaxy will never view humans the same way again. As the fleet held formation above the Dominion citadel, Dominion officers and citizens alike watched humans maneuver with precision, confidence, and restraint. The first steps had been taken, not to conquer, but to demonstrate. The Dominion had trembled not because humans were stronger, but because humans were unshakable, unafraid, and incomprehensibly intelligent. The message was clear across the sector: humans had entered the Dominion without fear, and the galaxy would remember this day forever. Diplomacy through strength. After the humans' flawless demonstration of skill and control, the Dominion's high command was in disarray. Councillor Threxa Valine had convened an emergency meeting in the central citadel's atrium, a massive chamber suspended over the heart of the Dominion's energy core. High-ranking officers and representatives from the outer fleets were present, their scales and exoskeletons reflecting the pale blue glow of the citadel. For the first time in centuries, the council faced a species that refused to submit to fear. Listen carefully, Threxa began, his voice resonating through the chamber's energy fields. They have neutralized our outer defenses without loss of life. They have bypassed our fleet formations with ease. And yet they show no aggression beyond demonstration. How can this be? How do we confront an enemy that does not fear us, that cannot be intimidated? Admiral Krevix, commander of the Dominion's orbital fleet, shook his segmented head. They are impossible. Our weapons, designed to instill terror, fail to provoke even hesitation. They maneuver with precision and calm. They do not flinch, do not retreat, and, most troubling, they do not fight like any species we know. They teach through demonstration. Meanwhile, on the resolute horizon, Admiral Lyra Voss prepared for the next phase: direct diplomatic engagement. Humans did not seek conquest, but influence. Dominion leaders needed to comprehend that humanity's strength was not mere firepower, but intelligence, foresight, and ethical leadership. Cadet Kale Arden monitored the energy flux from the Dominion citadel. They're arguing among themselves. Some want to strike us immediately, others want to understand our purpose. It's exactly as you predicted, Admiral, they are confused by confidence that does not waver. Lyra activated the long-range comm channel and addressed the Dominion Council directly. Her voice carried a tone of calm authority that seemed almost alien in its steadiness. Councillors of the Dominion, we are here not to destroy, but to demonstrate. You have ruled through intimidation and fear. Humans rule through intelligence, ethics, and unity. We do not flinch because we anticipate consequences, act with clarity, and coordinate with precision. The galaxy can thrive if you adopt these principles, or falter if you resist them. A murmur of disbelief echoed through the Dominion chamber. For centuries, alien species had either submitted or been crushed, yet humans were offering a choice based on understanding, not coercion. Councillor Valine stepped forward. You speak of ethics and intelligence. Yet our history has shown that strength, dominance, and control are necessary to maintain order. Why should we heed your philosophy? Lyra's gaze was unwavering. Because humans endure. We survive because we think ahead, we act responsibly, and we value life alongside progress. Strength without wisdom leads to collapse. Civilization without ethics leads to destruction. You see our fleet, our coordination, our precision. That is intelligence applied across generations. It is what allows humans to persist where others fail. The Dominion deliberated privately, but humans had already achieved their initial objective, establishing psychological dominance without firing a single destructive shot. The Council realized that aggression could not coerce humans. In fact, any attack would expose Dominion weaknesses and reinforce humanity's strategic superiority. Kale Arden's squadron prepared for a show of capability beyond the immediate demonstration. They deployed advanced quantum drones, capable of mapping gravitational fields and energy flows across the Dominion sector. The drones created holographic projections of Dominion fleets, showing real-time simulations of potential conflicts. Humans carefully illustrated how aggression would escalate into systemic failure, while ethical collaboration could stabilize the sector and preserve resources. Dominion officers watched in astonishment. They simulate consequences before they occur, whispered Admiral Krevix. Our fleets react only to threats. Humans predict, calculate, and adapt instantly. Their coordination is flawless. Lyra then introduced interstellar historical archives, records of human interventions in other civilizations. Entire systems, previously on the brink of ecological, political, or technological collapse, were revealed to have been subtly guided by humans. The Dominion had been unaware that species they considered primitive had been shaping history across light years. Counselor Verline's multi-limbed fingers clutched the railing. They have influenced civilizations for millennia without detection, without aggression, and yet with precision that rivals our greatest war machines. They are not just skilled, they are architects of civilization itself. Lyra continued, her tone firm but composed. We are not conquerors. We are mentors. We offer guidance, foresight, and strategy. The Dominion can choose cooperation and stability, or resistance and chaos. The choice is yours. Amid this exchange, human cadets conducted tactical demonstrations in real space. Non-lethal drones intercepted Dominion energy blasts, gravitational fields stabilized erratic satellite systems, and fleet maneuvers demonstrated unparalleled coordination. Alien crews recorded every action, and many began questioning their centuries-long doctrine of dominance through fear. Cale Arden reflected on the unfolding events. It is fascinating. They rely on intimidation as the primary tool of governance. Yet all our actions, calculated, precise, ethical, render fear irrelevant. HFY is more than courage, it is intelligence applied in service of survival and prosperity. Across the Dominion Citadel, debate grew intense. Some factions recognized the logic in humanity's methods. They do not destroy, yet they control outcomes, noted an officer. They do not demand submission, yet entire fleets obey their strategy. Perhaps they are not enemies at all, they are teachers. Counselor Verline, despite his pride, could not ignore the evidence. We must consider that resistance may be futile. They are not merely invaders, they are a standard we cannot match through fear or aggression. Lyra Voss seized the moment. The human's approach has proven superior not by destruction, but by foresight, coordination, and ethical strategy. You can choose to learn and thrive, or resist and collapse. History has shown that species guided by ethics and intelligence endure. Those who rely solely on fear are remembered only as cautionary tales. The Dominion Council slowly, reluctantly, agreed to open dialogue. Representatives from the human fleet were invited to the Citadel for discussions, setting the stage for a new era of interstellar diplomacy. Humans arrived unarmed, their presence itself a demonstration of confidence and restraint. Cale Arden observed the Dominion's inner sanctum for the first time. Its architecture was imposing, towers of shimmering alloys, energy conduits crisscrossing the chamber, and a core reactor radiating power that dwarfed the combined output of several human colonies. Yet despite the grandeur, he noticed subtle flaws, inefficient coordination between fleets, gaps in defense coverage, and a rigid hierarchical command structure that slowed decision-making. Humans had already demonstrated their superiority, not by destruction, but by observation and adaptation. The council meeting commenced. Lyra, Cale, and human strategists outlined proposals for collaborative stability, ethical oversight, and interstellar coordination. The Dominion listened in cautious silence, many struggling to reconcile centuries of pride with the humbling display of human intelligence and ethics. By the end of the session, preliminary agreements were reached. The Dominion would adopt certain human guidance protocols, including ethical fleet coordination, predictive resource management, and non-lethal conflict resolution strategies. Humans had not conquered the Dominion, they had reshaped its mindset, demonstrating that influence through intelligence and ethics outweighed intimidation. Cale Arden reflected as he returned to the resolute horizon. They trembled at our arrival, not because of our weapons, but because they realized that humans do not flinch, do not fear, and cannot be coerced. HFY is not just survival, it is leadership through intelligence, foresight, and ethics. Lyra Voss added, and this is only the beginning. The Dominion now knows what humans are capable of, not as conquerors, but as architects of interstellar civilization. Our principles will guide them, and through them, countless other civilizations will learn the strength of ethical intelligence. The Dominion sector had experienced its first true confrontation with humanity, not a battle of lasers or fleets, but a confrontation of mind, ethics, and strategy. And the galaxy would never forget the day humans entered the Dominion without fear, and changed the course of history, consolidation and ethical governance. The Dominion sector was in turmoil. For centuries, the galaxy had operated under the Dominion's rigid hierarchy, where fear dictated obedience and power was measured in fleets, energy cannons, and planetary domination. Yet now, with humans at the threshold of the Dominion's central citadel, the traditional order was crumbling. The resolute horizon hovered above the capital world Vera Prime, casting a calm but imposing presence over the sprawling cityscapes, orbital defenses, and bustling populations. Admiral Lyra Voss convened her strategy team in the flagship's command center. Cadets, strategists, and ethics officers reviewed the Dominion Council's responses to human demonstrations. Our objective, Lyra began, is not conquest. It is influence. We will guide the Dominion toward stability, intelligence-driven governance, and ethical oversight without causing unnecessary fear or destruction. HFY is leadership through wisdom, not intimidation. Dr. Ilara Mistral, the human strategist responsible for ethical coordination, nodded. We need to show them that the survival of the Dominion and its systems depends on collaboration, foresight, and intelligence. If we can integrate human principles into their command structures, we will ensure long-term stability. Lieutenant Kale Arden scanned the Dominion fleet formations. Some factions are already compliant, others skeptical. We need to demonstrate that cooperation with humans is advantageous, not just morally, but strategically. Every maneuver, every decision, must reinforce our principles without aggression. Lyra activated the holographic integration interface, projecting a multi-layered simulation of the Dominion sectors. Each orbital station, fleet, and planetary resource node was displayed with real-time analytics. Colored overlays indicated areas of instability, inefficient communication lines, and potential conflicts. Dominion officers, observing from comms feeds, watched as humans suggested subtle adjustments that increased efficiency and reduced risk without altering the balance of power. Counselor Threxa Valine had reluctantly agreed to allow a team of human advisors into Vera Prime. Humans walked among Dominion bureaucrats and military officers, offering guidance and insights. Unlike previous conquerors, they did not impose laws or demand obedience. They demonstrated solutions, how fleets could coordinate using ethical principles, how resources could be allocated without exploiting populations, and how planetary governance could balance efficiency with fairness. Kale Arden led a team to observe Tessera Station, a mining and energy hub known for its volatile worker strikes. Human cadets suggested introducing non-invasive monitoring systems to detect inefficiencies, prevent accidents, and anticipate conflicts. The Dominion supervisors were skeptical but agreed to implement the recommendations. Within days, worker productivity increased, accidents decreased, and overall stability improved. The results spoke louder than any weapon could. Dr. Mistral emphasized education. The key to lasting change is understanding. We will train Dominion officers in predictive ethics, strategic foresight, and collaborative decision-making. Humans endure because we plan, adapt, and act responsibly. By teaching these principles, we embed HFY values across the sector. Meanwhile, Lyra Voss coordinated a large-scale simulation of interstellar logistics. Dominion supply fleets were notoriously inefficient, often overextending energy reserves and leaving border systems vulnerable. Humans demonstrated optimized routing, energy allocation, and predictive maintenance, all integrated with ethical oversight to ensure civilian systems remained unharmed. Dominion admirals watched in awe. Counselor Valine muttered to his aides, "They do not command, they guide." Yet the improvements are undeniable. Our fleets are safer, our stations more stable, and our population is calmer. How can influence without force be so effective? Kale Arden observed a Dominion fleet exercise. Ships moved in perfect formation, responding instantly to simulated crises. Humans had integrated ethical protocols into their command systems, ensuring decisions balanced strategic objectives with civilian safety. The Dominion crews were astounded. "They are changing our instincts," one officer whispered. "We fear nothing because they fear nothing, and yet we act better for it." Lyra convened a council meeting with the Dominion's most senior leaders. "You have seen the results of cooperation," she said. "Humans do not seek control. We seek stability, foresight, and ethical governance. Your sector can prosper if you adopt these principles, or falter if you cling to fear and domination. The choice is yours." Some Dominion leaders were reluctant, their pride wounded by the realization that humans had outmaneuvered them without aggression. Others were intrigued, recognizing the potential benefits of collaboration. Slowly, factions began to implement human strategies, improved fleet coordination, predictive maintenance, ethical oversight of labor systems, and interstellar communication optimization. Kale Ardin led a delegation to Vera Prime's central archives, demonstrating how human historical strategies could predict the outcomes of political and social decisions. The Dominion scholars were astonished to see centuries of conflict and inefficiency resolved simply through foresight, ethical planning, and coordination. Dr. Mistral emphasized the long-term perspective. Humans endure because we anticipate consequences generations ahead. Dominion leaders who adopt this mindset will ensure their civilizations thrive beyond the immediate future. Those who cling to fear will falter. This is the essence of HFY. Outside the Citadel, human cadets organized a large-scale simulation visible to the population. Holographic projections displayed the improvements humans had introduced, optimized energy flows, reduced accidents, and streamlined governance. Citizens watched in wonder as the abstract concepts of foresight and ethics were visualized in real time, demonstrating that humans did not conquer, they improved. Councillor Valine, observing the public response, realized a profound truth. They have not used weapons. They have not demanded obedience. Yet our people admire them, our fleets function better, and our society stabilizes. Humans wield power differently, and it is more effective than fear. Lyra Voss addressed her team aboard the Resolute Horizon. This is what HFY truly represents: intelligence applied ethically, foresight guiding action, and courage defined by clarity and discipline rather than aggression. The Dominion will remember this as the day humans reshaped their sector, not through violence, but through vision and principle. Kale Ardin reflected on the human impact. They feared us because they could not intimidate us. They respected us because they understood us. HFY is more than courage, it is wisdom applied to survival, stability, and ethical influence. The Dominion is learning this lesson the hard way. By the end of the first month in Dominion space, multiple factions had voluntarily adopted human strategies. Accidents decreased by 45%, interstellar logistics improved by 60%, and border disputes were resolved without conflict. The Dominion, long ruled by fear, was beginning to internalize human principles. Lyra concluded the day's review. Humans endure because we do not flinch in the face of intimidation, we apply intelligence responsibly, and we guide rather than dominate. The Dominion now faces a choice: continue reliance on fear and risk collapse, or embrace foresight, ethics, and HFY principles. Their trembling is the beginning of understanding, not the end. The galaxy watched closely. Word of humans entering the Dominion without fear, neutralizing threats ethically, and reshaping governance traveled faster than any fleet could. Across star systems, civilizations whispered of humans as not merely survivors or warriors, but as architects, mentors, and the standard of intelligence applied with moral clarity. The Dominion sector was no longer the same. Humans had arrived, and the tremors of change echoed across planets, fleets, and citizen populations alike. For the first time, fear was not the ruler of the Dominion. The wisdom, foresight, and ethical application of human intelligence had taken its place. Human influence across the Dominion sector was growing, yet change never came without resistance. Despite the remarkable success of human-guided strategies, some Dominion factions clung stubbornly to old doctrines. Fear, domination, and hierarchical rigidity had been the foundation of their civilization for centuries, and abandoning it required more than observation, it required proof. Admiral Lyra Voss convened a council aboard the Resolute Horizon, reviewing the reports from the past cycle. "We have seen remarkable progress," she said, her calm voice cutting through the room. "Fleets coordinate with unprecedented efficiency, border disputes are reduced, and public compliance has improved. Yet resistance remains. Some Dominion commanders interpret our guidance as interference rather than opportunity." Cadet Kale Ardin scrolled through data feeds detailing energy output, population response, and fleet coordination metrics. Faction K-47 is particularly resistant. Their officers have refused human oversight and continue to rely on intimidation tactics, putting nearby systems at risk. They are predictable in their resistance, but dangerous nonetheless. Lyra nodded. Predictable, yes. Dangerous, yes. But we do not flinch. HFY is not just courage, it is measured courage. We will engage them ethically and decisively, demonstrating the consequences of adherence to outdated strategies without resorting to destruction. The first human delegation to confront the K-47 faction traveled aboard Vigilant Dawn, a mid-sized human cruiser equipped with the latest neural-linked coordination systems. Their mission was not to coerce but to demonstrate results, proof that cooperation with humans yielded tangible benefits. Lieutenant Saria Kaur, leading the human diplomatic team, entered the K-47 fleet's command station. The Dominion officers present were wary, their multi-jointed limbs folded in distrust. "We are here to offer guidance, not to command," Saria began. "Our simulations show that your current operational methods result in 38% higher risk of loss, inefficiency in energy distribution, and increased civilian harm. Cooperation with human strategies can eliminate these risks while maintaining your command authority." Commander Vreln, leader of K-47, hissed in disbelief. "You presume to teach us? Humans who have only recently entered Dominion space." Saria's expression remained calm. "Our presence alone is not evidence of authority. Our methods and results are. Observe this simulation." Holographic displays projected complex models of fleet movement, energy allocation, and interstellar logistics. Cadets demonstrated scenarios in which non-lethal interventions prevented conflicts, stabilized critical resources, and improved fleet efficiency by over 60%. Dominion officers watched in stunned silence. Every projection revealed the flaws in their traditional strategies, and yet no humans were demanding obedience or issuing threats. Kale Arden noted the reactions via comms. "Vreln is skeptical, but his subordinates are clearly impressed. They are witnessing proof of human intelligence applied ethically. That is far more compelling than any weapon." Over the next few cycles, humans worked tirelessly with K-47 subordinate officers. They introduced predictive planning systems, ethical decision-making frameworks, and interlinked communication protocols that allowed fleets to operate with unprecedented autonomy while maintaining strategic cohesion. The results were undeniable. Simulated crises were resolved before escalation, energy outputs were optimized, and border conflicts were prevented without a single casualty. Commander Vreln could no longer deny the effectiveness. "Your methods, they yield results," he admitted grudgingly. "Perhaps our previous reliance on fear has been flawed." Saria Kaur smiled. "We do not claim perfection. We only demonstrate that intelligence, foresight, and ethical application can achieve stability and success where fear alone fails." Meanwhile, Lyra Voss coordinated broader initiatives across the Dominion sector. Human advisors integrated predictive resource allocation, civilian protection protocols, and energy optimization strategies into multiple fleets simultaneously. Every intervention emphasized that human power was not measured in destruction but in adaptability, intelligence, and foresight. Dr. Ilara Mistral oversaw training programs for Dominion officers, teaching them predictive ethics, risk assessment, and collaborative problem-solving. "They see results, not coercion," she explained. "This is the essence of HFY, survival, prosperity, and influence achieved through intelligence applied responsibly." Back on Vera Prime, Dominion citizens observed the effects of human guidance firsthand. Orbital platforms now stabilized power grids automatically, food distribution became more efficient, and local disputes were resolved with minimal intervention. People whispered about the humans, their reputation shifting from fearsome outsiders to respected guides. Kale Arden reflected on the broader impact. "They fear us because they cannot intimidate us. They respect us because our actions yield results without harm. HFY is not about dominance, it is about proof, intelligence, and ethical influence." Not all Dominion factions were convinced. Faction D-88, controlling critical warp lanes, remained openly hostile. They questioned the motives behind human interventions, accusing the humans of manipulation and covert conquest. Lyra Voss addressed the concern directly. "Our purpose is not conquest. Our goal is stability and intelligence applied responsibly. Those who continue to resist will witness firsthand that our methods produce tangible benefits, even in opposition." Human teams initiated simulations and demonstrations near D-88's territory. Energy anomalies were corrected without destruction, fleet coordination improved across contested sectors, and interstellar supply routes were optimized. Despite initial resistance, Dominion officers began to see tangible improvements. Even the staunchest skeptics could not deny the efficiency and safety of human-guided operations. Councillor Threxa Valine monitored the progress from the central citadel. "They are reshaping our sector without firing a single shot. They are not conquerors, they are architects. And the Dominion cannot resist their influence without collapse." Kale Arden reported to Lyra, Every faction we touch begins to adopt human strategies voluntarily. Our impact grows not through fear or force, but through results. HFY principles are taking root across the Dominion sector. Lyra smiled. This is why humans endure. We do not rely on intimidation. We rely on foresight, intelligence, and ethical action. Every decision we make, every system we improve, demonstrates our principles more effectively than any battle. By the end of the cycle, the Dominion sector had transformed in fundamental ways. Fleets operated with precision, civilian systems stabilized, and resistance was dwindling. Humans had not conquered through force, they had won through demonstration, proof, and the unshakable confidence of species that does not flinch in the face of intimidation. Kale Arden looked out over the stars from the resolute horizon. They trembled at our arrival, and now they are learning to stand differently because of it. HFY is not just about courage, it is about vision, discipline, and the ethical application of intelligence. We are showing them a new way to survive, to prosper, and to endure. Lyra Voss concluded the day's briefing. Humans entered the Dominion without fear. We have faced resistance, transformed opposition, and demonstrated the strength of ethical intelligence. The Dominion will never be the same, and the galaxy will never forget the day humans showed that leadership does not require fear, it requires foresight, unity, and unshakable resolve. The Dominion sector had begun to awaken to a new era. Humans had proven that true power lies not in intimidation, but in the capacity to act wisely, ethically, and decisively. The ripple effects would continue, as more sectors adopted HFY principles, reshaping civilizations and leaving a legacy that would endure for millennia. Crisis management and sector-wide influence. The Dominion sector was beginning to feel the full weight of human presence. Where fear had once dictated obedience, intelligence, foresight, and ethical decision-making now governed actions across fleets, orbital stations, and planetary governments. Yet as progress spread, new challenges emerged. Systems previously neglected began to show signs of instability, rogue elements resisted guidance, and the sheer complexity of coordinating an entire sector tested human ingenuity. Admiral Lyra Voss convened her command staff aboard the Resolute Horizon. We have achieved unprecedented compliance across major sectors, but the Dominion is not a single entity. There are weak points, rogue commanders, and resource constraints that demand our immediate attention. Our next phase is crisis management, ensuring stability across the sector while reinforcing HFY principles. Cadet Kale Arden reviewed the reports from outer territories. Several energy-rich colonies in the Orvex belt are on the verge of revolt due to misallocation of resources. D-88 factions continue to push back, attempting to assert old hierarchies. These systems could undermine our progress if left unchecked. Lyra nodded. We address them not with weapons, but with efficiency, foresight, and ethics. HFY is about leading through results and example, not fear. Deploy task forces to stabilize these sectors using predictive algorithms and non-lethal interventions. The first human task force arrived at Talvorn Station, a critical hub for the Orvex belt colonies. Local administrators, used to relying on threats and rigid mandates, initially resisted human suggestions. Cadet Soren Vey coordinated with engineers and strategists to implement advanced resource distribution systems, energy stabilization fields, and automated conflict prevention drones. Soren addressed the station's council. Our goal is stability and prosperity. These systems detect potential disputes, optimize energy flows, and ensure civilian safety. You retain authority, but now with the tools to enforce it responsibly. Station commanders watched skeptically as simulations demonstrated improved outcomes. Within a few cycles, energy crises that previously caused unrest were resolved without any coercion. Civilian compliance increased, and productivity surged. The results were undeniable. Meanwhile, Lyra Voss led a delegation to confront D-88's fleet, which had been resisting human guidance and attempting to assert independence over key warp lanes. The humans did not attack. Instead, they projected a series of holographic simulations showing the consequences of continued defiance. Inefficient energy distribution, resource shortages, and potential civil unrest were visualized in real time. Dominion officers could see the benefits of cooperation without coercion. Commander Vreln, now reluctantly acknowledging prior lessons, remarked to his subordinates, "Observe their coordination. Every action produces positive results for the fleet and colonies. This is not manipulation, it is strategy." Lyra addressed the fleet directly. Our presence demonstrates that foresight and ethical decision-making yield results greater than intimidation. HFY is the combination of intelligence, ethics, and courage. Continue to resist, and you risk collapse. Work with us, and your systems prosper. Across the Dominion sector, similar interventions were underway. Human teams optimized transportation networks, stabilized energy grids, and implemented predictive maintenance across orbital platforms. Rogue elements were neutralized not with violence, but with strategic containment, ethical programming, and automated guidance systems. Dr. Ilara Mistral emphasized the human approach to the Dominion Council. Observe how our actions reinforce long-term stability. These systems were failing under fear-based governance. Now, predictive algorithms anticipate issues, ethical frameworks prevent conflicts, and citizens thrive without coercion. Humans endure not because we are stronger, but because we act wisely and ethically. In the colonies, Dominion citizens began to recognize the tangible benefits of human guidance. Starports operated with greater efficiency, energy distribution stabilized, and disputes were resolved before escalating. Public perception shifted further. Humans were no longer outsiders or invaders, but facilitators, architects of prosperity, and symbols of HFY principles in action. Cadet Kale Arden led a reconnaissance mission across multiple contested sectors. Everywhere we go, systems improve. Fleets respond faster, resources are conserved, and citizens are calmer. Resistance diminishes not because we threaten them, but because results speak louder than weapons. Despite these successes, challenges remained. Faction D88, though influenced, continued to test boundaries. Rogue commanders attempted sabotage, spreading misinformation to undermine human efforts. Lyra ordered rapid deployment of ethical oversight units, capable of neutralizing sabotage without damage. Autonomous drones intervened, correcting malfunctions and preventing conflict escalation, all without harming personnel. During a particularly tense session with D88 leadership, Lyra emphasized transparency. We do not hide our methods. Every intervention is observable. Our goal is not control, but shared stability. Your decisions remain yours, but the outcomes now align with intelligence, foresight, and ethics. This is HFY in practice. Commander Vreln, observing improved efficiency and reduced internal conflict, began to shift perspective. They act without fear, without coercion, and yet every system performs better. Our fleets are stronger, our citizens safer. Perhaps this is the path forward. Meanwhile, human cadets conducted large-scale sector simulations from the Resolute horizon. Predictive models showed energy allocation, fleet coordination, and civilian resource distribution under multiple scenarios. Each scenario demonstrated that ethical intelligence consistently outperformed intimidation-based governance. Dominion observers marveled at the clarity, foresight, and adaptability of human strategies. Lyra reflected with her team, humans endure because we combine courage with intelligence, foresight with ethics. The Dominion's traditional methods are failing not because they lack strength, but because they lack wisdom. HFY is the embodiment of strategic, ethical action under pressure. Kale Arden added, and every action we take reinforces this principle. Resistance diminishes, efficiency rises, and citizens see tangible benefits. We have not conquered them, we have inspired them. As the cycle concluded, the Dominion sector showed unprecedented stability. Fleets operated seamlessly, colonies thrived, and rogue factions either adapted or were neutralized through non-lethal interventions. Human influence was evident in every orbital station, planetary system, and fleet formation. Councillor Threxa Veline reported to the Dominion High Command. They have not destroyed us. They have not demanded obedience. And yet, our sector operates more efficiently than ever before. Humans are, unlike any species we have encountered. They do not conquer through fear, they teach through example. Lyra Voss addressed the Resolute Horizon staff. This is the essence of HFY. Intelligence, ethics, and courage applied responsibly can reshape civilizations. We have entered the Dominion without fear, demonstrated principles that outmatch intimidation, and guided their sector toward stability. The galaxy is taking note. Kale Arden gazed at the stars. Every system we touch improves. Every fleet we guide functions better. HFY is not just survival, it is leadership, influence, and ethical mastery. The Dominion is learning that, and the galaxy will never forget the day humans reshaped their sector without firing a single destructive shot. The Dominion had begun its transformation. Fear no longer reigned supreme. Instead, intelligence, ethical foresight, and unflinching confidence, hallmarks of HFY, were guiding a civilization once defined by intimidation. Humans had entered without hesitation, demonstrated their principles, and set the standard for interstellar governance that would endure for generations. Legacy of humanity. Months had passed since humans first entered the Dominion sector. The initial tremors of fear had transformed into cautious curiosity, and now curiosity had evolved into recognition, respect, and gradual admiration. Where fleets once relied solely on intimidation and coercion, Dominion officers and citizens now observed an alternative: intelligence applied ethically, foresight guiding action, and courage expressed not as aggression, but as unflinching clarity. Admiral Lyra Voss stood on the observation deck of the Resolute Horizon, overlooking the vast orbital city of Vera Prime. Countless ships moved in precise formations, energy streams illuminated the planetary orbit, and autonomous drones conducted maintenance with flawless efficiency. The Dominion sector was functioning at a level previously thought impossible. Humans had not conquered, it had improved. Cadet Kale Arden approached, data tablet in hand. The final sectors report unprecedented stability. Factions that resisted initially are now fully compliant with the guidance protocols. D-88's fleet has voluntarily integrated predictive ethics into every operational layer. Citizens are thriving. Supply lines are optimized. The simulations show long-term sustainability without coercion. Lyra smiled. This is HFY at its peak: intelligence, ethics, and courage applied across an entire civilization. They no longer fear us because fear is irrelevant. They respect us because they see results. Our legacy is not destruction. Our legacy is transformation. The human task forces traveled to every corner of the Dominion. On Tessera Prime, advanced energy grids stabilized previously volatile sectors, reducing resource shortages and preventing conflicts among neighboring colonies. Local leaders, once skeptical, now actively sought human guidance. They realized that collaboration, rather than aggression, was the path to prosperity. In the Outer Rim, human cadets guided fleets through interstellar trade routes, demonstrating efficiency in resource allocation and crisis prediction. Rogue elements that once sabotaged operations were neutralized through non-lethal measures. Autonomous drones, predictive containment systems, and real-time monitoring ensured stability without casualties. Commander Vreln of the formerly resistant D-88 faction approached Lyra personally. "I doubted your methods," he admitted, his multiple eyes reflecting humility. "I believed humans were naive. Yet our fleets are stronger, our citizens safer, and our resources more abundant than ever. Your guidance has shown me the power of intelligence applied responsibly. I understand now why you endure." Lyra placed a reassuring hand on the console. "You have embraced the principles yourselves. That is the essence of HFY, proof through action, not intimidation. Humans endure because we do not flinch, we anticipate, and we act ethically. You have now internalized that." Cadet Kale Arden observed the changes across the Dominion fleets. Each ship, each crew, each system functions more efficiently. Yet the most remarkable aspect is the mindset shift. Dominion officers now prioritize foresight, collaboration, and ethics over fear. They have learned the human approach by watching results, not listening to orders. In the Dominion capital, Councillor Threxa Veline convened a final review session with all major factions. Humans were present but did not dominate the proceedings. Instead, they acted as advisors, mentors, and observers. Threxa addressed the council. "We have witnessed the arrival of a species unlike any before. Humans do not conquer through fear. They do not impose by force. And yet, their influence has reshaped our sector entirely. We have seen the strength of intelligence applied ethically, and we acknowledge our previous errors." The council voted unanimously to adopt HFY-guided protocols across all fleets, colonies, and sectors. Ethical oversight units, predictive planning, non-lethal interventions, and coordinated intelligence networks became the new standard. The Dominion was no longer a civilization ruled by fear, it was a civilization guided by wisdom. Humans had demonstrated that true power lies not in the strength of arms, but in the precision of thought, the consistency of ethical action, and the courage to act without flinching in the face of intimidation. HFY principles had been internalized by an entire sector, a feat unmatched in galactic history. Kale reflected as he looked out over the star systems. The galaxy has learned something profound. Humans do not conquer. Humans endure. And by enduring ethically, humans elevate those around them. HFY is not just courage, it is responsibility, foresight, and unyielding clarity in action. Lyra Voss convened the final session with her team. "Our work in the Dominion is complete, but our influence will last far longer. We have created systems that maintain themselves ethically, fleets that operate intelligently, and societies that prosper without coercion. This is the human standard, the HFY legacy. The galaxy now knows what humans are capable of, not as conquerors, but as architects of civilizations. Back on the resolute horizon, cadets ran final simulations projecting the future. The Dominion sector would thrive for centuries under the guidance principles humans had instilled. Efficiency, stability, and ethical oversight created a resilient civilization, capable of facing internal and external crises without reverting to fear-based governance. Lyra's voice resonated over the comm channels. Humans entered the Dominion without fear. We faced resistance, demonstrated principles, and guided their sector toward lasting stability. The Dominion is no longer the same. The galaxy will never forget the day humans reshaped a civilization not with weapons, but with intelligence, ethics, and courage. Kale Arden gazed at the stars beyond. Every system we touched improved. Every fleet we guided functioned better. HFY is the combination of ethical intelligence, unflinching courage, and foresight. The Dominion has learned this lesson, and the ripple effects will endure across the galaxy. As the resolute horizon prepared to depart the Dominion sector, humans reflected on their journey. They had not conquered. They had guided. They had taught. And in doing so, they had left a legacy that would shape interstellar history for generations. The Dominion had been transformed, not by fear or destruction, but by the enduring principles of HFY, intelligence, ethics, and unyielding courage. The galaxy had witnessed a new standard of strength. Humans did not flinch. Humans endured. And the Dominion, once trembling at their arrival, now looked to the stars with hope, admiration, and a newfound understanding of what it truly meant to lead. The Dominion sector had entered a new era, one guided not by fear, but by the wisdom, foresight, and ethical example of humanity. HFY had triumphed, not through conquest, but through lasting influence, leaving a galaxy forever changed by the species that refused to flinch and chose to elevate others instead. The humans departed, their legacy secure. And the stars, silent witnesses to their journey, seemed to shine a little brighter, reflecting the enduring strength of a civilization that led not with fear, but with intelligence, ethics, and courage.